Okay, guys. Not me in my bonnet. Anyways, I wanted to address something. So, my I'm thinking about filing bankruptcy video got way more views than I was expecting. And I literally was saying I might need to. I didn't say I was for sure going to. But people are acting like I said I was filing bankruptcy. Which, if I do, I'm obviously going to research and vet out my best option. Like, obviously, I wouldn't jump straight to filing for bankruptcy without weighing out all my other options. However, I also think a lot of people are not super informed about bankruptcy, anyways. They're just like, oh, you're so scared because they hear the word and they just think it's scary. But I actually read different, like, resources, articles about bankruptcy, and essentially, it's a good way for someone who has overwhelming debt to be able to have protect their assets, right? Start over. Now with a business, you have to offload like your assets to try to pay back loans. So it really is for people who are have like an overwhelming amount of debt that they could not like actually make payments for, especially if you go through like a loss, whatever. So I was considering it because my current credit card payments are way more than what I make. But I obviously was not going to jump to filing bankruptcy without like knowing my full options, because I gotten myself out of debt before, but then got myself back into debt. And the other reason too is I know if I filed bankruptcy, I couldn't use credit cards, which I also think would be good for me because I would not have to worry about paying credit cards and could actually like save up my money fully. But there's different types of chapter bankruptcy. There's chapter 7, I think chapter 12, chapter 7, chapter 13. Chapter 7 bankruptcy and chapter 13 bankruptcy. And chapter 7 is the one that like forgives all of the credit card debt. I think chapter 13 is where you have to still make like payments and stuff. I think chapter 13 is more for like businesses and companies, and chapter 7 is more for like personal debt from what I've researched. Basically, the personal one, like if you are about to lose your house, if you're about to lose your car, like basically you could file bankruptcy to stop your house from going into foreclosure, to stop your cars from being what's the word, what are they called, repossessed. Like it's used to basically protect your assets before you are left with like nothing and having no way to pay for things. But you also have to have a lawyer. So I would talk with a lawyer before I decided and see if that's the best option. I also am considering just settling my debt, which is something I've done before with credit cards, and that might be the best option. But honestly, with my current situation, I'm not sure if settling is going to be good, because in order to settle, you still have to have money to settle your debt. So until my financial situation gets a little bit more stable, also if I have to move out soon, and honestly my credit's already bad, like unfortunately, I'm like, people think like my credit is already bad. I'm not really concerned about my credit getting any worse at this point because it's already bad. Bankruptcy is not going to hurt me any more than my current credit score is already hurting me, other than it's better, they say it's better to file bankruptcy because basically it freezes you where you currently are. So if you already have an apartment, it's better to file bankruptcy, which you've already been approved for something. But I'm at a point where my credit's already bad. I'm probably not going to get approved for an apartment with my credit score. And also have like the lack of income. So I'm already not in like the best situation, regardless of whether or not I file bankruptcy or not. And then bankruptcy also, you do have to go to court. It's not automatically approved. But I also think it's not something to be scared of the way people on my comments are acting like. Um, it's not a scary thing to do. It's also not necessarily a get out of jail free card. Like the bankruptcy, you still have that on your account. I've also considered using like a debt relief or debt consolidation. Okay, let me just read what it says. Chapter 7 bankruptcy, also known as liquidation bankruptcy, is a common type of bankruptcy that can help people who are unable to make regular debt payments. In a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, a trustee is appointed to sell the debtor's non-exempt assets and use the proceeds to pay creditors. Um, Chapter 7 is available to individuals, businesses, regardless of solvency, property. The debtor can keep some personal items and possibly real estate depending on state. Unlike Chapter 13, Chapter 7 does not involve a repayment plan. So, Chapter 13 basically means you have to make payments, but you're just able to make smaller payments. Chapter 7 basically, once you offload or sell, liquidate. So, think about it. Route 21, this business, recently filed bankruptcy. They're now reopened and still in business. Like, it's not the end of the world, and a lot of businesses file bankruptcy to protect their assets and also to um, liquidate things quickly so that they can be more profitable in the future, because you can't make profit when you have debt. And honestly, it's just like I don't feel like I make any money knowing I owe more money than I make, right? um but anyways, it's not, people are acting like it's the end of the world. It's not. A lot of people file bankruptcy and can still be successful in their lives. It's not going to ruin your life forever. It's not like this insanely scary thing, because I know like a lot of people hear bankruptcy and think, oh no, it's the end of the world, which is why like I'm listening to people who've actually filed bankruptcy and not people who are just scared of it, because I would rather hear people who've experienced and have actually filed bankruptcy and how it helped them, than listen to someone who's never filed it, doesn't know the process, doesn't know like what actually happens after, you know? And no, I wasn't just basing filing bankruptcy off of a TikTok. I literally was researching and seeing like, okay, what does it do? How would it help me? Would it help my situation? And honestly, a lot of times it's a little quicker turnaround too than waiting 7 years for bad credit to fall off. Because at this point, I'm what, 28? I would be 35 before my credit would reset, which is also not that great. So, in my opinion, it could be more beneficial to me to file bankruptcy, have no credit for like 3 to 4 years, and then save up in those 3 to 4 years, and then have like money that I can put towards buying a house, buying whatever, like investing in other things, versus, being like, okay, I'm just gonna wait 7 years for negative things to fall off my credit score, In my opinion, personally, it can be more beneficial. But I also want to say, like, people are acting like I said I'm for sure filing it. I just said I'm contemplating thinking about it, or that I might need to. I don't know if it's necessary. Also, of course, I'm going to make sure I know how much money I owe before I file bankruptcy, because you have to list down. At this point, I'm estimating it's around 10,000 from what I can think of. probably under 10,000. But um your um debt to income ratio is what they're looking at too. Like, does your income allow you to make reasonable payments on your debt? Also, the amount of interest you're paying. Also, just like there's a lot of things that I would consider. And also, I'm not stupid, guys. I know to research things. I wouldn't just jump to do something just because I saw it on TikTok. It really just seems like a lot of times people just jump to their own conclusion. But anyways, I don't think I'm not like would not be scared to do it because at this point it's really like I don't have anything to lose. Really, like my only assets is what? My car. I don't have a house. My car is already paid for in cash, so that could not really be stripped from me because they can't take a vehicle if they know you need a vehicle to get to job. Now, if I have multiple vehicles, multiple houses, yeah, filing bankruptcy, you're not going to be able to keep all of your assets. I don't have a lot of assets. I have more debts, more debt than assets at this point. I'm trying to sell clothes on Depop. I've sold 2 items so far, you know? But also, it's just I have to do what I feel is best for my personal life. It's not up to other people to decide for me. And at the end of the day, it's my life. Like if I feel like that's what I need to do to get to where I need to go or to have a reset button, honestly. And it actually is for people who are saying no, it's not a reset. It actually is. So um after about 3 to 4 years, your like it resets your credit. So it's like your old credit history doesn't exist. Like obviously exists, but after you file bankruptcy, it's basically your old debts are forgiven. Now you do have bankruptcy obviously on your credit, but your credit score is able to actually be better or be rebuilt after the fact. Like it's not like you're never going to be able to get credit again. And it's also not the end of the world. Like, I don't know. When you have um like I said, if you have nothing to lose, it's really not going to hurt you at that point, especially if you are already struggling paying credit card bills or whatever. It's definitely hard. But I also don't want it to seem like it is going to be hard for the first 3 to 4 years because you have zero credit. Like you can't borrow money for anything. So you have to be have like a stable income, at least be able to, you know, do something where you can save up and obviously take advantage of it to the point where you're smart with what you do after the fact. So, also, by the way, people are acting like credit card companies literally have insurance for non-payment. They get their money back. Like people are acting like you're robbing someone. Credit card companies have literally, when you don't pay back your credit card company, they file a claim, they get the money back regardless, and then they're still going to have debt collectors. They sell your debt to a debt collector who then harasses you for however long to try to get you to pay them back for money that the credit card companies have already gotten back after they file the claim, your non-payment as a loss. So the credit card companies are not losing in that situation. Your credit score is already going to be worsened. It's like it's not like you don't face consequences, obviously, but at the end of the day, it's just not the end of the world, and it's something that I'm considering because I know my income to debt ratio is really bad, and my like minimum payments on my credit cards were overwhelming, especially for my last job. Also, people saying, just get another job, just find a better paying job. Like, it's easy to tell someone to do that, but I don't even know how else to say it. It's like I've been applying for other jobs. I've been trying to get better paying jobs. Just because you apply for a job does not mean you get it. Also, even finding a second job, like, I mean, I just made a whole video about this yesterday because I had like a very discouraging experience where I applied for a retail job and basically they said no thanks. So, yeah, like I get rejected from a lot of jobs that I apply for. Maybe it's my resume, I don't know. I don't put jobs I didn't stay at for, a year on my resume, but regardless, it is not always, things don't always work out how you want them to, and I'm a testament of that. Like, there's been a lot of things that haven't gone the way I'd like them to, and I just have to roll with the punches and keep pushing. So, but basically, at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what works best for me, what I feel is best for my life, and that's what actually matters. I have to live my life. Y'all don't. I have to live with the consequences of my actions. Y'all don't. And I feel like some people for some reason are over exerting themselves into my actual life as if they're the ones who are enduring the consequences or something. And that to me is just like, why, what are you doing? Why are you acting as if my personal choices affect you personally? Because they really don't. Um, but yeah, like I said, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. Would not be scared to file bankruptcy, but it's definitely not like my first. The first thing I thought to do is just like I've already been struggling with like making minimum payments for a minute now, so it's not my first resort by any means. Anyways, I need to take a nap. I just wanted to say that because, like, basically the only thing not okay. I'm reading more. It says the assets that you would lose in chapter 7 are assets I don't have. Vacation properties, investment accounts, stocks and bonds, rental properties, luxury items, valuable artwork, jewelry, antiques. I literally own none of those things. And bankruptcy, it says, stays on your credit report for up to 10 years. But you can begin rebuilding your credit immediately. Oh, there's chapter 11. Oh, chapter 11 is what businesses probably use. Anyways, just because you hear bankruptcy doesn't mean it's like the end of the world for people. I don't know. I guess people learn in school that bankruptcy means like it's the end of the world. And a lot of people file bankruptcy for a lot of different reasons. It's mainly for like businesses. But think about it this way. If your income takes a hit, you lose a job, you haven't been able to find a job for a while, and now you can't afford the credit cards, like maybe you just had taken out credit for something or you've been using credit cards to pay off things, you lose your job, you don't have an income, and now you have debt that's more than what you can afford. A lot of people end up in bad debt situations usually because their income takes a hit, and my income has been taking a hit for the past, I would say, about 2 years. So it's not even like it's always just like people um are just borrowing money like crazy without thinking about it, which I do still think, like with credit cards, I just don't want to. I really think I'm not good with credit cards also, because I feel like I'm more inclined to spend more money with a credit card than I would if I only had a debit card. But I have to like learn how to use credit cards the smart way, which is, use it to pay a bill, pay it off in full. But that's not what I do. When I'm giving credit, I want to max it out. And that's not one smart, not healthy, and not how you should use credit cards. So I feel like credit cards are good when you use them the correct way. But for someone like me, having credit is just, it's like giving candy. It's like giving candy to, it's like for someone who has like a shopping addiction, it's like crack. If I get credit, it's like, oh, I think I have free money to spend, but it's not actually free, and I actually have to pay that back. And I recognize that. Y'all, I'm not dumb. I'm not stupid. I made dumb mistakes and I made not smart choices. That doesn't mean I'm stupid overall. Anyways, I recognize where I fall short, where I've made mistakes, how I can improve, and that's what I'm focused on now. Making better decisions moving forward, working on myself, working on my issues, working on the things that I recognize are problems or that are contributing to the overall issues that I've been facing in life for the past 2+ years. So I'm very aware. I'm self aware of most of my problems. I don't need other people or random strangers on the internet trying to tell me things that I already know about myself. And also, I'm not going to jump into something without being fully aware of the consequences, of the potential, I guess, setbacks or what have you of making a decision. So, yeah, I'm definitely just considering all of my options like a smart person does. And that's it. I'm not literally, I haven't committed to anything at this point, and we're still figuring a lot of things out, but we're doing the best with what we got, and that's all I can do. Trying to stay positive, trying to keep pushing forward, trying to keep my head up, trying to stay motivated and encouraged. So, thank you to everyone who is supportive and uplifting and not just coming to my page to be rude and criticize and judge and whatever. I appreciate all of those people. But again, at the end of the day, it's my life. I'm the one who has to live it, nobody else. I'm still young-ish. Now I am close to 30 at this point, so I'm like, we do kind of need to get it together, but I also just feel like there's not really a set timeline for when someone should have their whole life together. Also, I think regardless of your age, you're always going to be learning and growing and having to face different challenges. Like, life never just 100% gets easy. Like, there's always going to be challenges that you face in life, and it's not what you face, it's how you face it, what you learn, how you grow from those situations. So I'm not going to allow people who've never walked in my shoes tell me how I need to be living my life or tell me what I should be doing. I'm not perfect. I've never said I was. I've made plenty of mistakes. All I'm trying to do is learn, grow from them, and better myself overall as a person. And that happens over time. I'm still in a better place than I was probably a year ago, or 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. Who knows? But as long as I'm striving to achieve my goals, as long as I haven't given up and I'm putting my best foot forward, that's what I personally care about. Even if I fail, you get back up again, you keep trying, and you just don't give up. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day, and my life is not going to turn around on its own. Like, obviously, I have to put work and time and energy in, but I'm trying. That's what matters. I'm trying my best with what I got, with the opportunities that present themselves to me, and that is what I'm going to focus on. And also just trusting God, because at the end of the day, there's only so much I can do on my own. I personally think God can open a lot more doors for me than I could open for myself. And it's more important in my opinion, that I'm trusting someone who knows a lot more than me, than putting all my faith in myself and in my own ability to basically solve all of my problems, because I don't know all the answers to everything. Like, that would be not really smart to think I know and have the solution to all of my problems, because I don't. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I have to say. I just wanted to address that because a lot of people were commenting, like I said, I'm about to file bankruptcy tomorrow. Like, I just said I'm considering it, and that I might need to. I don't know. I might need to, but we're going to definitely make sure it's a reasonable, smart, and actually beneficial decision before I do that. So, yeah, that's all.